Hello guys! Today's story is, I created a fake persona for TikTok. I regret everything. It all started a few weeks ago. I was looking for ways to earn some extra money, so I decided to make some videos on TikTok. There was a problem though. First, I am a near 40-year-old mother of 3 kids, and we know the algorithm doesn't favor unpretty people. I definitely get roasted for it during the holidays. So I made a persona. I wore completely different makeup, and I used a filter. The result was a beautiful woman who looked like she was in her early 30s and only vaguely resembled me. I started off by posting skits about working in retail, since that's what I'd done before having kids. Then I transitioned to unboxing type videos that I also posted on YouTube Shorts. At first the videos sort of flubbed, but then I got a few to go viral. I wasn't some big household name or anything, but it was enough to make a few hundred extra bucks a month. Things were looking up. Everything started spiraling the week after Thanksgiving. I noticed a comment on one of my videos. It read, "I froze." I was always very careful to not let any personal details slip, despite the persona. I rewatched the video. I watched as Catherine pulled a Labubu out of a box. "It took a while to get all the way here to Ohio," I said with a little chuckle. I froze. I rewound and replayed that part. Again and again. I really didn't remember saying that. As I watched it, I noticed something else too. The video almost seemed to glitch for the tiniest moment before I said it. My face froze and jumped, like the video was spliced. A terrible idea swirled in my head. TikTok isn't like adding AI clips to videos. It sounded insane. But I remembered one of my friends telling me a few weeks ago about her Facebook ads she was running. There were so many AI features that added extra stuff to her images and descriptions. It was like a full-time job turning every single AI setting off. Was TikTok doing the same thing? I must have just let it slip, I thought. Nothing else to it. But then it kept happening. On a video where I unboxed some lotion, I watched the video and sure enough, that was such a weird phrase, it almost felt like an AI had spit it out. Sure enough, when I rewatched the video, there was that odd glitch again. My face froze for a split second, then jerked upwards before I delivered the line. Even if it's AI, how would it know I live in Ohio? The internet knows everything about you. A little voice in the whispered. Oh yeah, it knows you like dark chocolate caramel and cold brew coffee. It knows your circulation's shit, because it keeps giving you ads for socks and slippers. I slammed my phone on the desk. Next time I made a video, I would look at every option with a fine-tooth comb, making sure I did not in any way enable an AI thing. But of course, the video I posted the next day had the same thing. And it was worse. So much worse than the other two. I said, as I pulled out a keychain with my initials on it. KSB. I was sure I'd said Catherine. I quit, stopped uploading videos, stopped opening the app. My earnings quickly dropped without new content, but I didn't care. This was creepy. I knew I said Catherine. There's no way I said Casey. Was there? The next morning, I woke up to a notification on my phone. Not from TikTok or YouTube, from our Ring camera. Someone had been in our front yard at 3:24 a.m. I pulled up the video, confused. But as I watched, all the blood drained out of my face. Just beyond our porch stairs stood a figure. Their outline was blurry, and they were standing facing away from the porch. But they looked like they had long, dark, slightly wavy hair. The woman stood there for 2 full seconds before slowly walking back into the darkness. My husband asked, not seeming to make the connection. I don't know, he said, referring to the older woman across the street who'd been a competitive swimmer in a different lifetime. I swallowed. He glanced over at me. I swallowed. She isn't really doing anything. I would have called the police, but we lived in a townhouse development. There were about 30 houses within 100 feet of us, counting the ones across the street. The woman was standing technically in our front yard, but that's only about 10 feet from the sidewalk. It could be any one of our neighbors or anyone visiting them, not someone particularly targeting us. Their hair did match the wig, but my husband didn't think it was an issue. So I decided it wasn't either. I kept an eye on the Ring camera for the next few days, but nothing happened. No weird visits, no strange women skulking around outside. So I wrote it off as a one-off thing. On a whim, I checked my TikTok page to check the stats on my videos and see if I was accumulating any residual views for this month's income. As the page loaded, my blood turned to ice. There was a new video, a video I didn't upload. The thumbnail was different than the other videos. It was dark, and she appeared to be outside. My stomach plummeted. Hands shaking, I opened the video. She was dark, in front of a row of townhouses. Her filter-smoothed face was barely visible in the low light. The right half of it was completely black, completely in shadow. Her dark hair swayed loosely in the wind. She looked down at the camera, her one lit eye glittering in the street lamp. She smiled, and then the video ended. It looped like that several times before I reacted and closed out of the app. I stared at the phone, shaking in my hands. Someone was stalking me. Someone was using the same filters and wig to look like my persona. I called the police. I told them everything. I showed them the videos, every single one. Part of me expected the video of her, me, in the dark to be gone by the time the police came. But it was still there. I hadn't imagined it. The police searched the neighborhood, made a report, promised to talk to neighbors, told me to keep my doors locked, to call them at the first sign of trouble. But without the woman right there to track down, it wasn't easy. It would take days to find out who hacked my account, even if they could get TikTok to comply. So I packed us up and we drove to my mum's. We'd stay there for the next few days until we had an update. I knew that whole TikTok thing was a bad idea, my husband said after the kids had gone to bed. I know, this is bad. He hung his face in his hands. Do it. I logged in and deleted the account. Thankfully, there were no new videos, just standing outside the street lamp. I finally got in bed around 2 a.m., but I still couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning, wondering when we could go back home, what this woman's deal was. I finally gave up on sleep and walked out into the kitchen to get a snack. As I walked towards the refrigerator, something caught my eye outside. There was a figure standing at the tree line behind my mum's house. Pale skin, long dark hair, standing absolutely still like a mannequin, just barely visible in the shadows. I flicked off the lights and reached for my phone, but I'd left it upstairs. I looked down, patting my pockets. Motion caught my eye. I froze. She was standing only 10 feet from the door now, and she looked like my persona. Down to the filters, but in real life. Eyes that were slightly too big, skin that was poreless and smooth, pouty, perfect lips. But she still carried an uncanny resemblance to me. My pointed chin, my heart-shaped face, my tall stature and long legs. I finally ran up the stairs, got my phone and called the police. And again, they didn't find anything, despite combing every inch of the property. It's been 2 weeks, and I haven't seen her since. My husband assumes the crazy stalker lost interest. But I know better. Because when I looked at myself in the mirror last night, I saw several strands of jet black hair growing from my scalp. And I wonder if she's waiting to replace me when no one will know the difference. Thank you for following. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe.